Remember to watch my first cross tips video, as this will be more advanced. Number 1. Bad cross pieces. A bad cross piece is any piece that cannot be inserted into the cross in one move. So this one's done, this is good, this one is good, this one is also good, it doesn't get inserted into the right spot, but in one move you can do it, and this one is bad, because there's no way you can insert it in one move. As you can see, that's not correct. So in the last video, I talked about how if you have one cross piece you need to insert into here, and it's white not on top, but white on the side, then you can insert it like this. R prime, F, R. However, you should not actually do this that often because you should be able to deal with these sorts of pieces partway through the cross and not at the very end. So a common way to deal with these bad cases early on in the cross is to sit them on top of good edges as you insert the good ones. So this one is a good one. So if we put this one on top of the red one as we insert it like that, and let's just make sure we do a good insertion. So we have green here, we're gonna move green over here so that it goes green followed by red because the centers go green then red. Then if we insert red, then blue now becomes a good edge. And then we can now insert the blue one in there in one move. Another example is in this cross. So here we have a good edge right here in the middle. And so if we see any bad edges, then we should try to sit it on top of it, and that will make the case better. So in this case, I can put it on top of here. So even though orange and red are not next to each other in the cross, but if I put them in, it'll be next to each other, it's actually okay. I could just do the orange one first, and then as I'm about to insert this, just align the bottom such that red now goes into the right spot relative to orange. So you shouldn't think about it as a specific insertion technique because that doesn't come up too often. You should just think about it as, if I had this case, I should sit bad ones on top of good ones because then they become good ones as well. Another place you'll find bad edges is already attached to the white center, and these ones are actually the worst, so you want to correct these as soon as possible. So bad edges already attached to white can be corrected by nudging them out of that place. So what I mean is like this. If you take this piece and do a quarter turn, it actually becomes a good edge. Or a quarter turn this way, it becomes a good edge that can go into here. So you want to do a quarter turn cross piece insertion on top of this spot. So as you can see, green here is a good one about to go in, and instead of just inserting it in here, what we could do is replace that spot with red. Now when we insert green, red becomes good, and we can insert red like that. Or alternatively, we have blue up here, and we can use blue to nudge red. So we move blue into here, and then red can go over here. So again, these cases should be dealt with as soon as possible because leaving them for the very end takes a lot of moves to solve. Number 2, delay solving easy cross pieces. So with this cross, we have the cross pieces here, 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 and here. And as you can see, blue is actually the easiest one to go in. It can just go in one move and be solved. However, if you solve the easy ones first, you don't have freedom to do the rest efficiently. So you should actually solve this one last if it's convenient to do so. When I say convenient, I mean you're not going to do anything that will move this far away from where it currently is. In this case, I have orange here, green here, and the centers go orange, green. So I can put green on top of orange and do that. Once those are solved, and then I can solve red, and I can just solve it over here relative to green. And lastly, blue is still in a good spot, so leaving that for the end was good. So that was actually a 6-move solution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, just to kind of show my point again, I'm going to put blue in first now and see what would have happened. In this case, it doesn't make a big difference, but that's one move, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I do approximately the same cross solution, often putting the easy ones in last will help. Number 3, the replacement technique. Often you'll find cross pieces already there, but not solved relative to each other. So what you might think of doing is remove one, align the bottom, and then put it back in, and then that way you get them correct relative to each other. However, you should basically never do that because there is a better way to get around this. When you have a cross piece in the wrong spot relative to other cross pieces, then you should use a replacement technique. So what that means is if a cross piece is wrong, simply solve the correct piece on top of it. So the blue one is over here, and we're going to solve it to this spot. So that can be done like this because I'm ignoring the centers. Now, once I've done that, that kicked out orange, and all I have to do is put orange back in. So here's another example. We have 3 pieces of the cross done, but this one is in the wrong spot. Green and red are good relative to each other. So we're going to replace the orange one with what should go there, which is blue. And really, even if it's a bad case, you can do a replacement and it will still work out well. So we're going to replace it like that. And then now orange is sitting out here, so all we have to do is solve orange afterwards, which can be done like that. So here I have green, red, blue, and it looks like green one's the wrong one, or I could say that red one is the wrong one, and I'm going to replace the red one instead, because I see a really easy way to insert blue and orange that makes it solved relative to green. So since I have a really easy solution for these 3, then I'm going to say red one's the wrong one. And so I'm going to insert orange on top of blue, like that, to correct it. Then I did the replacement technique on red. So now I just align that and then insert red at the very end. So if you have 2 cross pieces done and 2 not done, this is sort of a rare case, but you should know how to deal with it. So this actually turns into a replacement case. All you have to do is take out this one and replace it into where it should go. And then simply solve green at the end. Number 4, finger tricks. So because you have hands and you have to hold the cube and grip it certain ways, then often it can be better to do more moves rather than to do less moves because it can be better for your finger tricks. So as an example, if you get partway through the cross where you're almost done and all you have to do is align the cross followed by inserting green like that, then if you were facing blue already, there's actually a better way to do that. So what you should do is just align green to insert into the correct spot here and then align the cross afterwards. And the reason is because that doesn't require rotating the entire cube. So it is 3 moves versus 2 moves, but it's really fast, and cube rotations are slower than 1 move, so that's why this is better. Another example of where more moves can be better for your finger tricks is for this cross solution. So orange and blue look easy, we have red here and green here. So one way you could do it if you want to be move efficient is realize that if you insert green over here using this, then you're going to create another bad edge with orange. So instead what you could do is just solve red and blue first, 1, 2, and then green and orange, you can sit green on top of orange because green's bad. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Personally, I think the best way to solve this case is to just put green in here anyway, because this is a really fast 3 moves, and you're gonna have to do it again for orange, but again, it's a really, really fast 3 moves, and then just put blue in at the end. So that solution was 8 moves, but I do believe it's faster. So that would go like this. So if I were to do it the way with 6 moves, then the finger tricks would actually be really weird to do it optimally, but I'd move red over first, do B2, and I actually believe that's slower and has some weirder regrips, and I actually did one take before this where I messed it up because the finger tricks are really weird. So just remember that finding move optimal solutions is good, but if there are multiple solutions you can find, pick the one that has better finger tricks. So one way you can avoid cube rotations is by doing wide moves or double layer moves, and these ones are a little bit hard to see, but I'll show you one example here. We have green, red, and orange. If I insert green here, red sets up over here. Insert them like that. Then we have blue here. So for this case, what you should be thinking is I could align it to blue like this. And then if I rotated the bottom here, then I can insert blue at the end. Although that does require a cube rotation. And so here, how you could do this is L prime. And then instead of these two, instead of D prime, Y prime, you could do a wide U prime. So another example is this case, as I'm about to insert blue, I could do it like this. But if I was facing orange, then I can't do it like that because I have to cube rotate. But if you think about it, I would do D as the first move and it also cube rotate. So D and Y can be, they both don't have a prime, so they can be replaced with just a wide U. And that actually makes this one easier. So the wide U thing is a little bit more complicated to think about in your head, and that's why I think you should not use it very often, but there are definitely cases where it's worth it. So now I'll just do some example cross solutions where I use the techniques I talked about in the video. Okay, so we have green, orange, red, and blues back here. So I noticed that red and blue are both bad, so I'll try to deal with these as soon as possible. So one thing I noticed I could do is set red underneath here, and I'm gonna ignore green and orange for now, because as you can see, they're almost done. So I'm going to put red underneath here, and if I move it here now, then this sets blue on top of red, so I can do them both at once like that. And these are solved relative to each other. Lastly, I'll just fix green and orange. Okay, scramble number 2. We have green and blue here are bad, and blue is already sitting on top of red, so that could be useful. And we have orange over here. So I think what I should do here is, because red and blue, if I do that, then blue doesn't go to the right of red, but I have another option right here. So I just do U prime first, and that sets up red and green. And at the same time, by putting in green like this, that kind of moves blue to a nicer spot. So what I could do now is just align blue like that to put it in, and then put orange here at the end. Ooh, F12 pair. Okay, here, number 3, this will be the last one I do. We have green, orange, and blue. All right, so here for orange and green, this is actually really nice because I could just put it like this, and then green sits on top of orange, and they can go in like that. But that's not gonna be the first thing I do, because blue here is really bad, and I wanna fix this as soon as possible. So what I could do is move blue to a nicer spot, such as right here. And what happens is when I insert these, then blue is gonna just not be there anymore. So do that, and then blue's now in a nicer spot. So that's it. Let me know if you learned anything new, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is probably the last tips video I'll do on just the cross, because the cross doesn't really get that advanced. Like, once you learn all of this, actually coming up with the optimal or near optimal cross solution is not going to be that hard, but as long as you practice it a lot. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.